Before we get into the video, make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. I mean, come on, what are you doing if you're not subbed to me by now? My content is fire, from stop motions, news videos, reviews, music occasionally. All my social media accounts are linked down below, and now, let's get straight to it. Okay, so we've got quite a bit of news to talk about here for some toys and Rise of the Beast. So getting right down to the nitty gritty of this, first up here, today, around 1 p.m. Eastern Time, the new Studio Series wave of figures went up for pre-order, along with the Voyager buzzworthy Target exclusive Optimus Prime. A 360 video was put up for the Optimus and the Core Class Dark of the Moon Bumblebee with a new head sculpt. And taking a look at the 360 of this Optimus Prime here, I gotta say, I really love the kibble management much better in terms of the robot mode than the Bumblebee movie release from a few years back in Studio Series. But that does result in a back that is weaker in truck mode than what we get in the Bumblebee movie version for Optimus Prime. So, a bit of a give and take there, along with the fact that the weapons are weaker. The gun is way too small and there's no paint on it, and the sword, it looks great, but there's no orange clear plastic or orange yellowish paint to show off the Energon energy within the axe, I guess you could say, whatever, or sword. So those are my main problems with it so far. The weapons being weak and the back of the truck mode being weaker than what we got with the Bumblebee movie release. But again, that does result in a much cleaner robot mode and a bit more slender and accurate to the CG model that we see. So all in all, I am pretty pleased with this Optimus. I'm probably going to be pre-ordering him at some point, maybe. I'm not sure, we'll see. But out of the Studio Series wave, the ones I definitely want to pre-order, or the one is that War for Cybertron game Megatron. I really want that figure to go along with the Optimus I already got. Brawn I'll get at some point, and along with Rhinox. Cliffjumper, I'm not too sure on that mold still just yet. I gotta see how I feel about that Bumblebee in hand if I get him here soon, so yep. And next up, turning our attention to some Rise of the Beast movie news. Jonik Bontemps, sorry if I'm pronouncing that name wrong, the composer for Rise of the Beast, he did an interview with one of the Transformers podcasts yesterday, and he confirmed quite a few things about the score. First up here, he talks about that we're going to hear some familiar music from the Steve Jablonsky score of the Bayverse movies, mixed with new themes that were created for Rise of the Beast. And he also adds here that the Optimus Prime speech that's apparently going to be at the end of the movie, we haven't heard about an Optimus Prime speech until now, so get hyped for that. That's pretty awesome. The music going to be playing during that scene is going to be written by Steven, and Optimus is going to have his own medley in this movie, so to speak. So that is absolutely dope. I'm so excited to hear the soundtrack. There's going to be some other things about the soundtrack that I want to talk about a little later on in the video. So there's a lot of great things rumbling about this soundtrack, along with, he says here that there are some Easter eggs to the 1986 movie score in Rise of the Beast. What I'm guessing is there's going to be a remix of the Unicron medley from the 1986 movie theme. That's my guess. They could be pulling into some more deeper cuts that are less popular, or they could be going into some more popular cuts, who knows. I think there could be a couple songs that they could use for this movie, especially the Unicron medley. I think that's a given, honestly, and if they don't use that and that's not the 86 movie soundtrack Easter egg, then I don't know what they're going to be pulling for Rise of the Beast here. But from what people are saying and what we got here from this interview, it seems like this soundtrack is going to be some of the best we've heard since what? Dark of the Moon or the 2007 movie. So yeah, soundtrack sounds pretty epic. Along with this sort of relates to the soundtrack info, but we're not too sure yet. But Laszlo posted on the boards yesterday, he says here, been talking with somebody from the crew and I managed to get an exclusive info. Something is coming in less than 2 weeks, and he has the 2 highlighted. And he says along here, I won't reveal what, but I cannot wait. Don't DM me, won't tell anything else than this. And then he responded to somebody else hours later asking him, soundtrack preview June 2nd perhaps? And he responds back with a smiley face emoji. So this could be, this could mean that we're going to be getting a preview of maybe the 86 movie reference of the score along with, I'm thinking maybe the trailer that Stephen Campbell Jr. was hinting at is dropping June 2nd, a week before the movie, sort of like what happened with Fast X a couple weeks ago. And we're going to be getting more hints of the score than what we heard from the previous trailers. And what they're going to be using will be that 86 movie reference that the ROTB composer is talking about in this interview here. Because isn't it interesting that we're getting this interview a week and a half before we're supposedly going to be getting a taste of the soundtrack, or maybe even the third and final trailer for Rise of the Beasts? That seems a little bit of a marketing lineup there, so I don't know. It seems like some stuff might be going down June 2nd, so keep your eyes peeled, and y'all know I am definitely going to be covering whatever's going to be happening here, so get hyped, guys. This is pretty exciting. And turning our attention to some Legacy Generations news. First up here, Prime vs. Prime dropped the long-awaited review for the Leader Class Armada Megatron, and I gotta say, in hand, he looks pretty great. He has his problems, you know. I think he could have came with another accessory or two, or extra engineering to fill in those forearm gaps like I've mentioned in previous videos. Those are my main two gripes so far. And I think they could have added some more articulation in there to spice things up engineering-wise. I just think overall they could have done a bit more in terms of the accessories or the engineering of Megatron to sort of fulfill the Leader Class price point a bit more. I mean, these things are pretty much $60 at this point. They're like $58, $59 after tax nowadays. So, I mean, for a $60 figure, it does seem a bit light, and they're just coasting off of the hype and the clout of a new Armada Megatron being done in the Generations line in modern times, which is freaking crazy in its own right. We all know this. But still, the fact remains, it's a bit light for a Leader Class, I gotta say. And even Prime vs. Prime mentioned this in the review. I gotta agree with him in that aspect. There are some cool features like the turret and the fact he's got the missiles there. They don't fire, but, and then the turret, a piece of it can pop off and you can plug it into the arm to form this arm cannon, which is kind of cool. So, yeah, and then the shoulder issue, he covered that, Prime vs. Prime, and that does pretty suck. I was expecting ratchets in there, especially if the rumored Commander Class tidal wave that's supposedly coming out next year is combining with this Megatron. We do have some hints of that here in the engineering. There's a couple unused ports on the back of this Megatron. You do have some sort of, I wouldn't say ratchet joint, it's more of like a friction joint within the hips and the knees. I was just hoping they would have done that in the shoulders, you know, utilized that Leader Class budget. It seems like, I don't know, it just feels a bit weak for the Leader Class price point, you know. But I do still have them on pre-order because, again, it's Armada Megatron. We're getting a new Armada Leader Class Megatron. You could, like, pinch me and I still wouldn't believe this. But, yeah, he looks great. I have my issues with him. But in hand, I think he is still a definite cop. The very last thing that I want to cover in this video is we have our very first look at the Toxitron Collection Wave 2, I think this is, of Deluxe Class Mirage, in that classic Florida color scheme us fans like to call it and meme to death on the boards here. This is pretty great. I like it. You got the alligator deco on the spoiler. Would have been nice if the rims were painted silver. That would have been cool, but whatever. I guess the silver paint budget went into painting this gun silver this time around, which I guess is all right. But yeah, it's just crazy. We finally have this G2 deco for Mirage in a modern figure with modern articulation. This is the Kingdom mold, so it's got ab crunch. It's got nice tight joints. It would have been nice. I still don't think this mold works that great for Mirage, because you can't even mount the arm cannon, or the shoulder cannon the right way on this body mold. But still, we have the Florida Alligator deco for G2 Mirage, people. This is crazy. But, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be getting it right away, but at some point, probably. But, yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover in this video. Let me know what you guys think about Armada Megatron in hand. Are you guys picking up this Toxitron G2 Mirage? What do you guys think about the score for ROTB? How's it sounding to you guys when we haven't even heard anything yet? It does seem kind of hype so far. And, yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I want to say. Thanks for watching. Bye.